In this video, we're going to talk about data in R. In the last video, we created two different programs. The first of these added two numbers together, such as 2 plus 2. The second printed out some text. Both of these programs contain different types of data. In the first example, the addition, we have two numeric values, the numbers 2 and 2. In the second program, the print function, we have a series of letters and other symbols. These are called characters, and the entire sequence is referred to as a character string. These are just two examples of the types of data that we can use in R. Values in R can be divided into several different types of data, or modes. We've already seen the first two in this list, the numeric data, which can be numbers. Right? These can be negative numbers as well as positive. They can be decimal numbers. We've seen character data, where we have strings of letters and symbols between quotation marks. We also have logical data, which is the values true and false. There's two other types that we don't need to worry about too much, but you should know they exist. These are complex data, which refers to something called complex numbers, and raw data, which is a way of storing data in the form that computers recognize. It's important to keep in mind the distinctions between different types of data because they behave differently within computer programs. For example, we can add two numbers together and we'll get the mathematical result of adding those two numbers together. But we can't necessarily add two character strings together, right? What happens if you add the character A plus the character B? That doesn't really make sense. So the type of data that we have influences the sorts of operations that we can do. So to go into a bit more detail about numeric data, there are different ways, different types of numbers that we can refer to in R. For example, we can have whole numbers, right? So integer numbers like 1 and 10, or we can have decimal numbers, 1.01, 10.9. And we can have negative versions of those numbers. And we can generally view these as being interchangeable as far as R is concerned. We've also seen character data before, right? So these are the series of letters and symbols that we put between quotation marks. The important thing is that we need matching quotation marks at the start and end of any character string. We typically like to use double quotation marks, but you can also use single quotes, single quotation mark at the start and the end. But it's important to remember that you can't mix and match, right? You can't start with a double quotation mark and end the character string with a single quotation mark. You have to use the same type at the start and end.